Has the extreme seller's market that we've been seeing finally gotten to the point where it's almost to the top? Good question. We're about to find out because we're getting close. This is Steve, real estate agent with the Malone Realty Group. Appreciate you joining us today. The end of May, we're approaching Memorial Day weekend, so I figure let's take a look at the market right now as we are getting ready to really start up the summer season. People getting out of school now. People starting to think maybe this is time to make the move. Things are changing. This is going to be the time where things get a little crazy in the market. Things change in the market. So, as you know, just to recap, there's nothing on the market right now. We have really not added a whole lot of inventory. We've continued to sell anything that's out there. So now anything that even looks the part, is close on price, is gone. A lot of homes are going well above asking price. People are having to bring in more money to cover the gap in the appraisal, things like that. It's just a crazy market right now. So where are we right now at the end of May? All right, so there's four big things that I'm keeping track of that all four mean the number of buyers in the market is actually getting ready to considerably drop compared to where we've been. So, number one, rates are going up. They are not going to be going up substantially, but they are going up enough to take some of the heat off the market. When they were down in the twos, everybody jumped in. Then they got into the low threes early part of the year. They kind of held. Now they're starting to inch up again. Rates are on the way up. Buyers are going to start losing buying power. And in this market, you can almost afford to overpay for a house if the rates are low enough. The payment's still okay. You can still afford it. But if you're going to overpay for a house with a rate that's much higher, people are going to lose buying power in a hurry. And all of a sudden, it's going to be a much different market if we see the rates go up on the order of maybe 0.5%. You're talking about some serious changes in the dynamics of the market. So, the rates are starting to creep up a little bit, which in some ways is good news. It's going to take some of the heat off this market. Number two, April sales. They were a little slower than they were in March. Obviously, they were better than they were last April because we were in Corona land last April. Everything was shut down. We really didn't have a whole lot of closings in April and May of last year. So we really can't look at year over year. But when you look at March to April, you figure April's a little bit higher just because we're ramping into that season. April this year, nationwide, dropped a little bit in the number of homes that were sold. That probably doesn't have a whole lot to do with the number of buyers necessarily, but it has a whole lot to do with the fact that we're running out of houses. There's really nothing on the market right now. And when there's nothing on the market, a lot of the buyers are going to start, they're just going to throw in the white towel and say, you know what, we're done for now. We'll get back after it in a year. We'll see what happens. A lot of buyers are starting to pull out of the market. And for that reason, we're seeing less closings April from March. So that's where we are. So that's number two. Number three, new housing is slowing down. We've all heard of the reasons. Number one, there's only a limited number of land where you can build stuff. Number two, wood is uber expensive right now. Number three, you can't necessarily find everything that you need for a house. It's not just wood, but it's everything else. For a while we had a shortage in roofing supplies. And for a while we had a shortage of refrigerators. We should have a shortage of everything right now. And then once that comes back, something other that comes up is completely weird that we have a shortage in. So those shortages are slowing down the new home builds. The new home builds are going to help us get through this, put more homes into the marketplace, find some homes for some of these buyers, and take a little bit of edge off the steam, a little steam off the bubble, so to speak. So new housing is slowing down a little bit. Number four, other states are opening up. We've seen a big influx in folks from other states, California, New York, New Jersey, people where there are the lockdowns, and people are just they were moving here for that reason. And Georgia's not the only state that's dealing with that. Texas, Florida are dealing with a lot of that. Tennessee is seeing a lot of that too. People moving to the southeast where it's not quite as locked down, and people are able to get out and about a little bit easier. Things are changing across the country as states are opening up now. And because of that, maybe the people that were going to move maybe pulled out and said, you know what, maybe we're not going to move anymore. Things are a little bit better now. We're going to stay here. So for all of those reasons, and the fact that we really have not added substantial amount of homes, I really think that based on the numbers that we're seeing, I think that the buyers are going to finally start pulling back a little bit and letting some steam off of the market and kind of slowing the market down a little bit, which is a good thing. We need to we need to breathe a little bit in this market because home prices can't go up 10 to 12% seemingly every 6 months, which is what it feels like it's doing right now. It's just completely crazy, and we can't do that. So to have the buyers slow down a little bit and have the rates go up a little bit brings a little heat off the market. Then the buyers feel a little more comfortable that are in the market that are looking for a house. Those buyers are a little more comfortable putting in an offer. Makes it a little easier for them to get a house, easier for them to sell a house, more houses come on the market, so on and so forth. All of a sudden the dominoes start shifting the other way, and then we get a little bit better. So some things to keep in mind as we go through these next couple months, some things to watch. When we looked at the counties around the metro area and the FMLS, when we looked at the number of new listings between March and April of this year and March and April of last year, and really March and April of several years past, we added a few more houses than we typically do between April and March, or than we did in the last couple of years. A few more houses. It wasn't a substantial uptick. It was a few more houses, which is good news, but we need a substantial uptick. We need a lot of homes to hit the market. So that's something to watch to see. Once the May numbers come in, what did May of this year do versus May of last year and in May of 2019? How many homes did we add? Once we get all the numbers in, we should know that within that first week of June. And we'll update that probably like a week from now and see what the numbers look like. People moving into town, as we just talked about, maybe not as many people are moving here. As everything starts to open up. I mean, just saw something saying that the NFL is actually going to open up in the fall with full capacity in almost every stadium. You're seeing basketball games in the playoffs where everybody's, the fully packed arenas now. So, I mean, things are getting, quote, back to normal, unquote, as far as that goes. So maybe people don't necessarily have to move to the North Georgia area like they were, so it's going to pull more buyers out. The other thing is, and we alluded to this a second ago, people, they may just be giving up. And I've worked with some buyers who we've looked at houses and they either they're the part and you're in a bidding war with 40 people, or they don't look the part. And there's just not much to choose from. And anything that looks the part is just a bidding war. And buyers sour on that pretty quick, especially buyers who don't necessarily have to move. They sour on that pretty quick. So that's what we're starting to see now. So it's just a question of, are people going to start giving up? It's going to be a very interesting couple of months between May and I'd say end of July, because that's the off season for school. Once you get to mid to late July, people are going to say, you know what, we're not moving, because you need a couple weeks to move into the new house, things like that. So I figure once you get to mid, late July, we'll really get a good idea of where we are. We'll really get a good idea of what the summer season look like and what does it mean for the long term, because this is a real big pivot point as far as how we pivot out of the summer is going to mean what we're going to do for fall and into winter of next year. I mean, if we start to see the point where there are fewer buyers, it's not as crazy. Some people feel a little bit more comfortable going on the market because maybe they can find something because there's fewer buyers. And because of that, they start to put their house on the market. Other people start to put their house on the market. The vaccines are continuing to do well. We're also getting the herd immunity or getting close to it from people actually having the disease. So people aren't as nervous about people coming into their house. Things like that. We're turning the corner. How we turn that corner and what direction we go is really going to kind of point us in that direction as far as what the market's going to look like end of the year, beginning of next year. Hopefully it's just a regular seller's market. This is a hair on fire, run out the door with crazy seller's market right now. If we can just get to a regular seller's market, because I really don't think we're going to get into a buyer's market for a long time. You got to get a lot of homes on the market to get into a buyer's market. I just don't know when that's going to happen. So right now, the best we can hope for is for just a regular seller's market, something where everybody does not have their hair on fire, a little more controlled. And we're hoping that we get into something like that once we get into the fall and the winter. Everybody kind of catches their breath. And maybe next year, it kind of looks like a normal year, real estate-wise, whatever that is now. Because this has been 2 crazy years. So whatever that means. So I say all that to say, as I look at the crystal ball and I look at all the stats and I look at all the numbers, personally, I think that we're getting close to that peak where it's finally going to, things are going to start to pivot. You're already seeing fewer homes April from March. You're seeing the rates going up. You're seeing, new housing slowing down. States are opening up. All these things are, all these ding, 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 all these things are happening. And I really think that this is the point where things start to pivot as we head into summertime. Let's see what happens. Now, it could be completely wrong, and a whole bunch of people decide, oh, let's go buy a house right now, and we never get out of this. So we're just guessing at this point. We'll see how it all plays out. If you want to talk about it, give me a shout, 470-233-4409, 470-233-4409. This is Steve, Malone Realty Group. Hope you have a safe Memorial Day, and a thank you to all the families of all the fallen who we remember on this Memorial Day, protecting our country. We thank you for that, and to all those who have fallen, we thank you as well. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.